It's 4 a.m. You're lying in the bathroom floor in excruciating stomach pain. You feel like you've just thrown up everything you've eaten for the past 2 weeks. You're sweating and just want to lay on the cold floor until the pain subsides. An hour later, you hear your alarm clock ringing from your room next door. You slowly drag yourself off the floor and prepare yourself to go to class, despite the pain. Does this sound familiar? I think we can say we've all had a common experience or dilemma. If not for mandatory attendance, this decision would have been very easy to make. You would have stayed there on the bathroom floor until morning and kept your germs to yourself. Instead, you know that you have to go to class or it will be counted against you because you can't get a doctor's note. So you go to class, share your germs with everyone around you, and the cycle continues. This is one good example of why attendance in college should not be mandatory. One common argument used in favor of getting rid of mandatory attendance is one that was left as a comment in response to Romer's article, Stevenson, Journal of Economic Perspectives, 1994. This stated 5 points for why college attendance should not be mandatory, including reasons such as students would be a captive audience and that attendance policies are difficult to implement. Ultimately, attendance should not be mandatory in college for 3 reasons. Firstly, college is a privilege, not a right. Secondly, we must learn to be responsible and self-governing on our own. And lastly, requiring unruly students to attend class causes a disruption for the ones who are actually there to learn. First off, I would like to say that college is a privilege, not a right. In the marketplace, you have the classic consumer versus producer aspect. In reality, the producer is the one that makes the goods that the consumer wants. In reality, consumers do not pay for something and then get regulated on how, when, and why to use it. This is the same thing in college. Students are the consumers, the teachers are the producers. The students are paying to come to college. They shouldn't be governed on how, when, and why to go. Professors will get paid whether students show up to class or not. College is the student's first chance at taking control at their own educational experience. Secondly, we must learn to be responsible. College should be different than high school. Requiring a student to do something does not encourage self-discipline. According to Craig Rosh and Kay article, Class Attendance in College, a meta-analytic review of the relationship of class attendance in college, and a review of the relationship of class attendance with grades and student characteristics, class attendance is directly proportional to final grades. Students should use this information to make judgments for themselves as to whether or not to attend class. This judgment should not be made for them. We must also learn to prioritize. Learning to prioritize in college will help us prioritize in life. For example, in reality, if you had a family death, you would go to the funeral because it's a once in a while event. Instead of going to work, you'd miss work for that day and go to the funeral. This should be the same for class. We should be able to prioritize and put things in order in our life. A counter argument that many people use is we're required to show up for work in the real world, so why shouldn't we be required to show up for work in class? This argument doesn't stand very firm for one simple reason. People don't pay to go to work. We pay to come to class. And last but not least, requiring unruly students to attend class causes a disruption for the students who actually want to learn. The students who wouldn't be there shouldn't be. Presence of apathetic students would result in tardiness and disruption in class. According to David Laustein, PhD, psychologist article, Behavioral Problems in the Classroom, What's a Parent to Do, students' disruptive behavior in the classroom not only affects themselves, but also the students in class with them. Also, teachers are not babysitters. Apathetic students only get in the way of the teacher trying to teach students who are actually there to learn. Teachers are not getting paid to entertain. If uncaring students didn't show up to class, the student-teacher ratio for the students that actually care would be better. According to a Wiki Answers article, copyright 2010 from the Answers Corporation, the student-to-teacher ratio at Harvard is 7:1 versus the student-to-teacher ratio at a community college, which is 16:1. This shows that students who apply themselves and who actually care to be there because of the tuition at Harvard versus the tuition at community college, this shows that they actually want to be there and the number is split in half. And so the student-to-teacher ratio is much better. In conclusion, we must make a movement to abolish mandatory attendance one college at a time. A large movement can only be made one person at a time. Begin a petition at your college back home or even here at Liberty. As teachers and staff members to sign a petition, it's time to make a change. Attendance should not be mandatory because college is a privilege, not a right. Secondly, we must learn to be responsible and self-governing. And lastly, requiring unruly students to attend class causes disruptions for the ones who actually want to be there. Let's make a movement today to get rid of this rule that infringes upon our right to be self-governing adults.